Hi everybody, welcome to the Wild Ginger Running YouTube channel. Live chit chat and podcast version coming later. So today we've got long-time patron of Wild Ginger Running YouTube channel, Hannah Bazley. She has stunned us all again with her incredible feats of endurance. This time she has run and hiked the Pennine Bridleway 270k, that's 168 miles, in 91 hours. So that's almost 4 days. So I think Hannah, we're gonna have to stop referring to you as normal now at this rate, because I think you do these things far too often now. So I don't think you're a normal person anymore. But how are you doing today? How's the recovery going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm finally, about 2.5 weeks after I finished, feeling like I need to stop eating junk and start gently training again.
Yeah, no, I think eat all the junk you can manage. This is why we do these things.
Yeah, exactly.
So today I'm going to be asking Hannah how the Pennine Bridleway 270 was, like how does she train, how does she keep going when everything hurts? She got her first ever blister, like what does she eat, what's motivating her, and how do her children and husband and dog help with that, recovery afterwards, and what's this about being joint first lady finisher. So we'll cover all that today. But first of all, I thought we should just tell everybody what the route is like, and the conditions underfoot. Could you just describe like where it starts and finishes, and a little bit about what the course is like?
Yeah, so it starts at Middleton Top, which is on the bottom, like at the high peak, near the bottom of the High Peak Trail, which is not that far from Matlock in Derbyshire. And it finishes at Kirby Stephen up in Cumbria. So it it seems quite a long way, it's sort of basically level with the Lake District. And yeah, the route, because it's a bridleway, a lot of the route is pretty easy going in terms of there's not, you've not got bogs. You've not really got bogs.
Yeah.
A lot of it's kind of hard track, which is probably not great, that probably helps added to sort of foot pain. There are some sort of grassy bits, some really nice, and it starts, as I say, the first probably about 16 miles or so are on the High Peak Trail, so it's an old railway line.
Oh, right.
So it's nice, easy going along there.
Sounds easy to navigate as well.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the route is easy to navigate because it's on a national trail, so it's very well signposted. I'd say probably, on my experience of the part of the Pennine Way I've done, it's probably better signposted than the Pennine Way. There's a couple of slight diversions just for sort of safety's sake, and like including a recognised walkers alternative near Glossop. So you have to kind of have your wits about you a bit, but if you've got the GPX loaded,
you just follow it on your watch. Yeah,
well, I had it on my phone that I could use when it was dry if I needed to, but I also had it like on the OS app, but I also had like a Garmin GPS device as well, which was
yeah. So. Yeah, and did you just turn the nav on when you thought, oh, we're getting to Glossop now, or did you have the nav on the whole time? Because I would have been wondering about battery life over that 91 hours.
Yeah, I didn't have it on at the very beginning because it's just literally following the trail. But for most of it, I just had my GPS on, and the batteries lasted pretty well. It just takes AA batteries, and you just, at each checkpoint, I just switched them out for fresh ones, just so that.
Right, yeah. So you had a proper old school GPS. Handheld, yeah. Oh, I see. Not a whizzy watch, like.
No.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Ah, okay. And so I'm intrigued as to why you picked this race, because it's a very small race, isn't it? You said there was only 12 people starting. I've got a picture here from Bobby Cullen, who's also a patron, who also did the race, and he did it in just under 60 hours, which was his goal, which is absolutely cracking. So congratulations, Bobby, if you're watching and listening to this too. But I'm just popping that picture up there. Bobby's the one in black on the left, far left. And then Hannah's the one on the right of him. him in the grey t-shirt. So they're all standing there, 12 of them, just ready to start the Pennine Bridleway 270 race there by a big sign. So it does look nice and easy to navigate there.
Yeah. So I've done a couple of Ranger Ultras events before. They're the ones that organise it.
Ranger Ultras.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Stu Westfield and his father. So Stu used to work for the Spine Race.
Yeah, I've heard of that name. Yeah. Was he on the safety team, was he?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he's got his own set of like ultras and trail races based around. It's kind of based around the Pennine Bridleway anyway. So I think they came up with this one to include the whole Pennine Bridleway.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it mentioned, I was like, I hadn't even done the Spine race with the Spine Challenger at this point, and I saw it and I thought, I really want to do that.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's a lot cheaper than the Spine races, because I hear that they're very expensive. But is that just me assuming?
It is a bit cheaper. So it was probably it's £400. But if I did the Challenger North, because that was the other one I looked at, the Challenger North this year, the Spine Challenger North is like £600, about the same distance.
Okay.
And actually, for the Pennine Bridleway, the logistics worked really well for me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's much easier to get home from Kirby Stephen than it would be.
Than Kirk Yetton. Yeah, I see.
And also, I'm in Derbyshire anyway, so the start isn't far from me. So it's
yeah.
I've got to lift
Okay.
over to the start, lift over to where we got the coach from in Hayfield in the morning from my husband, which was about 45 minutes or so drive, so it's not that far.
Not too bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying that even though there was only 12 people doing the race, you did sort of meet up with other people on the route and you were similar speeds to them, so it sounds quite sociable.
Yeah. So I met Lizzie, who I ended up doing the whole race with.
Is she the lady in green in this start photo? Oh yeah, she's the only other lady there. It must be her on the left in green. There was two of you, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. So I met her about a year and a half ago at another Ranger Ultras event, where we discovered that we were doing the Spine Challenger a few months later. So we did a recce for the Spine Challenger. We did most of the Spine Challenger together until my wheels kind of fell off and I sent her off ahead. And then we did some recce's for this race as well. So
together. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So we've messaged each other about stuff in the preparation, and we've become nice, like good friends really. With similar interests, and so it's nice to sort of spend the time with her. But we also ended up spending time with some other people en route as well. So we bumped into John and Craig for a bit on the first stage, and we sort of other people as it went on.
Just chatted, and all the marshals, all the checkpoints. You mentioned that the checkpoints weren't like overly busy or anything, obviously, because of the 12 people. That must have been nice as well. You sort of get a specialist treatment at the checkpoints.
Oh yeah, they were brilliant. Marshals are great. And it wasn't so much marshals; it was some water stops really. But yeah, really supportive. Like checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, because checkpoint 1 wasn't too far in, but checkpoint 2, it was like nearly 36 hours after the start. I hadn't had any sleep, and everything was sore. And on the way in there, I thought, I just don't want to do this. Why do I want to do this?
Yeah.
And then I thought, no, marathons are really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got there, and I had in my head that they always say with these races, you don't pull out when you arrive at the checkpoint.
Yeah.
Wait to eat and sleep. And that's what they said as well. They knew I was kind of on the edge of tears, and so and even after my sleep, I was sat there nibbling on a bit of toast, like just tears in my eyes, thinking I don't want to do it.
Oh.
But they were really good at just like saying the right things and getting you moving, and and advice
that's really
and
nice.
Stuff. So
yeah. And you continued for another 60 hours.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had my major wobble was about a mile and a half after leaving checkpoint 2 at Hebden, when I turned around to Lizzie and Craig, who had joined us at that point, and said, I just don't think I've got it in me. I'm not feeling it. I'm really sore. And they basically encouraged me to carry on. So yeah, I was a bit tearful and I was a bit feeling sorry for myself. So they encouraged me to carry on, and I said, right, I'll get to the next water stop, which was 17k into that section, and see how I feel. But literally a couple of miles later, after nibbling on some like mini stroop waffles and some chocolate hobnobs, I was like, right, no, we're going to settle. I'm not stopping.
Yeah, you rallied. Yeah, you've got to just break it down into those chunks, I hear. Not that I've ever done anything this incredible. Yeah,
definitely. So you couldn't look at the finish, you just had to look at each checkpoint, really.
Yeah, look at each checkpoint. But I'm just thinking, like, just to sort of wind it back from race day itself, how do you even train for something that's so long like this? I know you've done the Spine Challenger in the past and we've talked about your training there, but this is a whole extra 68 miles. Like, how do you train? Like, what do you actually do? What do you do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I want to know it all.
I suppose it's just aiming for time on feet. So trying to get out on days out hiking. We did a two-day recce, myself and Lizzie, for one of the stages, and we found a hostel that was halfway between.
Oh, cool.
So we did about sort of 23, 24 miles on one day, stayed over at the hostel, and then did the other section on the other day. And it's just fitting in, getting out before work. I'm a veterinary nurse, so a lot of my job is on my feet anyway.
Oh, good, yeah.
We've now got a dog, so since last year, so we dog walking as well, with a pack on sometimes.
Yeah.
I started using an old rucksack, weighted, but it ended up with a lower back pain, so I just ended up using my race pack, and that was fine.
Yeah,
so,
you don't need to do much more than the race pack, do you? Just put that on and get used to that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if that works fine in the Challenger, then I was confident it was going to be. Yeah. It was going to be fine. So, yeah, it's literally just seems to be time on feet.
And was that mainly running or walk or hiking and speed hiking?
It's a bit of a mixture. I do probably more running in the week and cross training as well if I had any niggles, or just to break it up. Or if my husband was working, I would get on the turbo train or a cross train that we've got as well.
So you can, like, the kids can just amuse themselves, but you're still there, like on the cross trainer, and they're like, "Mummy, where's the lip balm?" And
exactly.
Give us some food.
Yeah, so they're old enough they don't need like constant direct supervision like a toddler, but yeah, at least I'm there. They can always, there's a problem, they can come and see me, or a couple of times I'd have to like pause and go and sort something out and then get back on the turbo.
Yeah, that's so I'm very impressed by this motivation. You're motivating me. I just like get home in the evenings. Well, I don't, I'm in my office now, I don't get home, I am home, but I'm just so exhausted, like by the time I've put Fiddly to bed and he's like kicked up a huge fuss about taking his t-shirt off and putting his pajama top on, you're just like, the last thing I want to do is go in the garage and get on the turbo.
Well, I can't motivate myself very well in the evenings.
Okay.
So it's mornings, so it's before work, or if I'm not working but Peter is, I'll get up and like either have a light breakfast or no breakfast and then get up and go on the cross trainer. So I think my first cross training session was like 2.5 hours on a Sunday when he was working.
Oh, brilliant. And so how early is that in the morning that you have to do that before you have to kind of do school and that kind of thing? And work?
Well, that was on a Sunday, so I didn't have to get up too early, but I did have some mornings where I got up at like 5:20 to do stuff.
Oh, wow. You're going proper Jasmine Paris on us now, Hannah. You're definitely not a normal person anymore.
Yeah, the joys of having kids.
Yeah.
Kids do stuff where, like on a weekend, I would. There was one day when I think I hiked like 10 miles into work, and then did work, and then hiked another 10 miles back again.
Wow.
With a full pack. Just trying to fit it in, really, without being absent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just juggling.
Do you do any strength work, like dedicated strength work or speed work or anything like that?
I did some sort of hills and a bit of some speed work. Quite a lot of intervals as well on the cross trainer and the bike. Strength work I didn't do as much as I should have, which is normal for me.
Yeah, just always. Me too.
My problem is I'm motivated in the mornings to get up and do my sort of, my cross training or my running or my hiking, but I tend to save my strength work for the evening, thinking I'm going to do it, and then I'm just too tired.
Yeah, I'm totally the same as you. I think that I've heard some really good advice in like just do 10 minutes of speed work before you run or before you do your turbo session or whatever, and then you've just got it done. It's out the way. That's what I heard, but I still don't do that. So I don't know why I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know, and I said to my husband this morning, right, I'm starting going again. I really got to try and do a bit of strength and conditioning, but then I know I probably won't, and I've got to try and find something that works. But
yeah, I need to find something that works. I did briefly consider like getting a personal trainer, just like 1 week until the Lakeland 50, just to ensure that I do enough strength work to get me through it. But then I was like, it's going to be 30 quid a time, and I just, you add it all up in your head, and you're just like, I could just do it, Claire, just do it.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I can't.
Maybe I could pay myself 30 quid every time I do it. In a pot somewhere, and then buy something with it, like a holiday.
Yeah, or just new kit.
Yeah. Get something nice, a new watch or something really nice,
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's your training. And Maria, who's watching live here, says, I just want to read this out to you. She says she likes the concept of time on feet because it makes it feel much more manageable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you're not like on a training schedule or anything.
Yeah. Because that's what it is, I knew I wasn't going to be going particularly fast in the race because the cut-offs are nice and generous, but it's just being out there, isn't it? And I knew from the Challenger that my feet were going to probably be the toughest bit. Feet and sleep deprivation are the toughest bits to deal with.
So you learnt from that, and that's great that you're just mentioning this, because Tony, who's watching live, has got a question here about resilience. He says, has Hannah felt any increase in her personal resilience and ability to deal with these big challenges? Deal with big challenges in her non-running life as a result of her training? Interesting question.
Yeah, in a way, it's probably almost the other way round, because we've had a difficult sort of few years with my daughter, and I think I've had to be really resilient with that, and I think it's kind of almost helped, if you get what I mean. I can think, well, you've coped with all of this, you can cope with being out on your feet doing something you wanted to sign up for.
So it was the other way round. That's really interesting. Because she's got special educational needs, is that right?
Yes. So we've had a tough time, sort of school exclusion and getting her into a specialist school and getting support for her. Which things are a lot better than they were. It's still tricky, but a lot better than they were. So it's good. If you can come through that.
Yeah. Then what's a bit of walking? A little bit of a light jog. Easy, isn't it? A few jelly babies and keep on going. And so, talking of jelly babies, the next question I've got here is, what do you eat? Like, do you follow any special diet a day to day? Not talking about the race here, but just like in general life. Are you vegan, or do you try to, pile in the macronutrients? Do you weigh your porridge in the morning?
I was vegan for a time, and I've also, but I gradually slipped off the wagon, so to speak. But I've also used stuff like MyFitnessPal in the past to weigh things, but it just got a bit, just slipped off. I try and eat reasonably well, but I'm a sucker for anything chocolate or biscuit or cake.
Oh my god, me too.
So it is difficult, and I managed to lose a little bit before the race, but not as much as I'd hoped. I think I was probably one of the slightly chunkier people doing the race. So if you compare it, some of them are just, there's nothing of them. I find it more inspiring. Like, you are a very normal person, normal size, normal job, normal training, and you can complete these amazing things. It's incredible. So I find that more inspiring than seeing some tiny whippersnapper on the start line. Especially as I'm not exactly skinny anymore after having Finley. I'm always I should stop, I shouldn't really eat this chocolate. I know, and I'll buy a bar of chocolate and I'll be I just have a couple of squares, and then 5 minutes later it's gone.
The whole thing. Me too.
You're tired as well. And trying to train for it, but also trying to eat well, it's very difficult because
Yeah.
you get hungry or stressed
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't follow any particular diet, you just try to eat healthily.
yeah,
Plus
try to
chocolate.
eat well. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
and then
chocolate's part of your 5 a day, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. I figure if I eat well for most of it, then I can have some practice.
Definitely, definitely. And that brings us on to what you eat in the actual race itself, because Tadeusz he's one of my patrons as well as you, and he has this question for you. He says, on the longer races, how much does real food instead of sugary gels and powders make a difference?
Oh, for me, it makes a big difference. Yeah, I mean, I had just a mixture of food. So I packed sandwiches on the first day, peanut butter and jam. So,
Yum.
uh, and I also stopped at Parsley Hay, which is like some toilets and a little food kiosk and bike hire place on the High Peak Trail. And I think that was only about 15 miles in, if that, and got a homemade Scotch egg.
Oh,
So
delicious. Bit of
my first
protein.
yeah. Uh, I drink Huel often as a breakfast, just for
Okay.
ease. So Huel shakes. So I did take some of that with me as well. So even if I didn't feel like eating, I could just grab that and just start drinking it. And that was like, yeah, that ended up being like the portions I weighed out was about 500 calories per flask with it.
Okay. Well, that sounds really handy. I've not ever tried Huel, but on that situation, I feel like that would be a really handy way to eat it, because it's got everything in, hasn't it? It's got like all
Yeah.
like vegetables, presumably ground up into a powder, and
Well, I don't think it's so much got vegetables, but it's supposed to be like a complete meal.
yeah,
With
yeah,
protein and carbs.
yeah.
So Lizzie had fuel as well. So I just got a fresh flask of fuel at each checkpoint, but also I think a couple of water stops I made up a fresh one as well.
Yeah.
Probably didn't drink as much of it as I thought I might, but like with everything, you just your tastes during the race. You're not, you kind of go off things, or you decide you want certain things.
Yeah. Did you get any cravings at any points during the race?
Not really. I mean, a bit like with the Challenger, I kind of did go off food a bit, but whereas when with the Challenger, I just stopped eating. This time I had to remind myself to keep eating.
So you're learning from race to race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always learning, isn't it? I think with these things, because
Yeah.
you can only really know what they're like by doing them. So.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I had one thing that worked quite well a couple of times is a little pot of instant mash.
Oh, nice.
It's like cheese and ham instant mash, and I had a flask with me of hot water that I got refilled at each checkpoint, and that slipped down nicely.
Yeah, it sounds nice and slippery yet tasty, like kind of salty,
Yeah,
carbs,
yeah,
protein. Yeah.
yeah, and a couple of pepperonis, and I had the other things. I had the sweet things were like, say, hobnobs, sort of little chocolate things like minstrels and stroopwafels, flapjacks. I'd made my own flapjacks, so I took those with me. And those are quite good to shove in, because they were when I checked the calorie intake, like calorie on my fitness pal, they were rammed with calories. So.
Oh yes, yeah. They're basically, if you ever make them, you really realise what goes into them, don't you? Like butter, sugar, syrup,
yeah, exactly.
oats.
And I had a freeze-dried meal as well on the third section, so that was nice, because that was a decent amount, I think. About 600 or 700 calories or something like that. So
yeah, yeah. Oh, that sounds nice. Like a lot of different things.
Pots of custard.
Oh, custard in the little pots.
Yes, like ambrosia custard. But also we stopped wherever there was food. We tended to stop, and it became a bit of a laughing, like a running joke on the Ranger Ultras Facebook group. We just kept posting pictures of this food.
Yeah, posting pictures of you sat eating in cafes.
Yeah, well, we stopped at a pub with about 10 miles to go on the third section, so 10 miles to settle, and we stopped and sort of used the toilet, and we got a drink each, so I had like a pint of Coke just to sort of keep me going, and but they said they'd stop selling food, but they came out to us. We were sort of in a sort of semi-outdoor bit that was like nicely sheltered, because it was raining at that point. And we were just sitting down having our drinks, and I said, "Oh, we could do some toast." And I said, "Oh, I've got sticky toffee pudding or jam rolling in my eyes."
Oh my god!
Stick
Yeah.
it on pudding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a massive bowl of that.
Oh, amazing. This just like you're really selling it to me here just through the food. It just sounds like a really extended pub crawl. Were you running all of this, or like what proportion of the race would you say was hiking and what proportion would you say was actually running?
It was almost all hiking. We ran for like a little bit on the first section on the High Peak Trail where it's flat. We do like a few minutes of running and then a little bit of walking, but that didn't really last long. Or we ran if we saw someone with a camera.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew from looking at the cut-offs and everything, I knew that actually you could walk it and still be comfortable and not worry about getting timed out. So
yeah,
that was nice going into it that I could do that, and I knew that it'd be going at similar pace to the Spine Challenger.
Yeah.
So it was almost all walking.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, that we think of these races as running races, like the Spine and the Spine Challenger and this Pennine Bridleway races. We think of them as running races, but actually for most of us we're just hiking them, aren't we? So maybe that makes them a bit more accessible to some people as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I mean, one of the guys that started it, unfortunately he had to finish because he had a bad chest. But I think he set off knowing he wasn't going to run any of it.
Yeah.
He was going to hike it, and he sort of, So he's done the full summer Spine before.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he's back next year to have another go at the full one. Hopefully he'll be well. But,
yeah,
exactly. If you go in with that mentality that you don't actually have to run, you can walk it.
Yeah, and it just depends on the cut-offs, doesn't it, on these things? So we're definitely checking the cut-offs. And you mentioned that you got your first blister quite early on, and you said just earlier today that your feet and the sleep were going to be the biggies for you. So can you just tell us a little bit more about how that played out and how that was for you? Because my feet are my thing too, so I'm particularly interested in this from a selfish point of view as well.
Yeah, so I got my first blister by the first checkpoint, which was about 36 or so miles in.
Yeah.
I think I'd had a bit of a play around with the insoles in my shoes, so I don't know if that made a difference, but I could feel it the last few miles before the checkpoint. I could feel a boingy area, and I thought, I wonder if that's a blister, because I'd not really had a proper one before. And it was on the side of my heel, on the inside of my heel, and it was pretty big. It was the size of maybe a couple of 2p pieces or something like that.
Gosh, that's big, isn't it?
I know. So I was like, oh god, but I packed all the blister stuff that they recommend for things like the Spine race, and I hadn't rewatched your video about foot care. I hadn't watched it, but I had watched it when it was originally on, and I remembered certain things. So I had lots of pre-cut tape, and I had some little scissors that came in a first aid kit with me, and also in the Spine race they tell you to take some needles, hypodermic needles, with you.
Yeah.
So, I sort of.
Did you get involved? Well, you're a vet, so like presumably you're quite good with the stuff like this. You just pretended it was a small hamster on the side of your foot, did you?
Yeah, I just thought I used like hand gel on my hands, an alcohol wipe on the blister, poked it a couple of times and squeezed it all out, and then I put some of that what's it called, the sort of fleecy web, and then
is it moleskin or something?
Yes.
Yeah, some gauze stuff.
Yeah, John, who I'd mentioned, he was there and he was helping give me advice as well, and I managed to manage it well.
Yeah. And did it flare up during the course of the next couple of days, or were you all right after that with that
generally
blister?
Okay. I had a matching blister that was like half the size by the end on the other heel.
Oh, okay.
And I had a bit of a blister sort of between the balls of my feet, the ball of my foot and some of my toes.
Yeah.
So that was really difficult to dress, and I think when my feet then got wet, it kind of sort of taping kind of gathered up a bit and made it a little bit more sore. But yeah, it was manageable. So.
Yeah. So was it, you did also mention that just the repetitive pounding of the foot and the swelling, that was quite hard pain wise to manage. What keeps you going when it is hurting like that? Like, how do you do it? Like, I need all the tips that I can get, basically.
Yeah, so I didn't really have any swelling until I stopped, like until the race ended.
Okay.
Not anything significant, but it was just your feet just feel like you've been walking on Lego. Really, it's just really sore just being on them. So painkillers, paracetamol as often as we could, and also I set off thinking I'm not going to take ibuprofen because that's the advice that you shouldn't. But yeah, by probably about 3/4 through the race, I started taking ibuprofen as well, because we were going slow. We weren't like running and like working really hard, and we were eating and drinking plenty. And so, you know, eating plenty. So I wasn't worried about taking ibuprofen, and actually it really helped.
Oh, and it did help,
It did, and just taking the weight of the feet every so often as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a laugh now, but the last 5K, where we were just, the three of us were so tired, Craig was with us. He was very good at like organising us to keep us going. He said, right, we'll walk a kilometre and then we'll rest. But when we stopped to rest, I couldn't just stand there on my feet, so I just go down onto my knees.
Yeah.
He was eating jelly babies, and like we were all just eating jelly babies every kilometre.
And you just got through it. I don't think I'd even want to rest if I had 5K to go. I'd just be like, right, I've got to just get there. I'm just going to go.
I was like, when will it end?
When will it end? And you just think, why have I signed up to this? Well, like, does that go through your mind ever? What's your motivation for signing up for these really, really long ones?
I actually don't know. I enjoy the challenge. I kind of almost like preparing and sorting out everything on your kit bag.
I like that bit too. But then it comes to the start line, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have sorted all this out for somebody else and then watch them do it.
Which is why, as I say, during the approaching checkpoint 2, when I was like at my lowest ebb, I was literally thinking to myself, I don't need to carry on. I've got nothing to prove, and like my mind was telling me all these reasons why I should just stop. I managed to fortunately overcome that. But
I bet you feel good that you did overcome that, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. And as I say, that's when being with other people helps, because you can just keep each other going. That's really
good. I know what you mean, because I did a marathon. It's nothing like this, but I did a marathon a couple of weekends ago, and it got to like the last sort of 5 miles, and I was starting to get and then the last 4 miles I passed a checkpoint, and there was this other 2 girls, and I was walking, and I'd had a really good race until then, and I was just a bit dead, because I don't think I'd ever run that for like over. I don't think I've ever run 4 hours at a time. It's usually uphill, downhill, trail running. I've never done a road marathon. It was on the Tissington Trail, so it's basically a road. And they just said, "Are you coming with us?" And I was like, I think I better had. So they got me running, like we were back to 10-minute miles, and my body was capable of it, but it was my mind that was going, oh no, it hurts a bit, oh I can't be bothered, and I was going, shut up, shut up, mind. And I was trying to run with them, and we did run like all the way to the finish, and I'm so glad that they were there, because otherwise I just would have walked it, and I would have completed it, but I just would have been walking, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it. So it was nice for them to give me a good solid pasting for the last 4 miles.
I mean, I would have been. I hope I would have completed it, but I'm not 100% sure. But I certainly, if I had done, I would have been slower. But as I say, Craig was very good at getting us motivated and moving. He'd be saying, right, we'll get to this point by this time. And we invariably did. We managed. So it was,
and that probably helped him as well, like having some people to boss about. Like if his personality is like, right, take charge, do this, do that, he was probably helped by that. So, and then you were helped by him. That sounds really good. We
were a team, and like we set off on that last sort of section. We were like, right, we are sticking together, and me and Lizzie had already had a discussion on the third section about sort of finishing together as well. We sort of both agreed that we didn't want to like race each other, and we'd been together all that time anyway. So sorry, my daughter's bashing on the door.
Do you want to see what she needs or anything?
No, my husband's downstairs.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. She's just trying to get attention.
Go and ask Daddy. Oh, bless her. I've got quite a nice question here from Bobby, who also was there at the race. He said, what was Hannah's experience to push through that first night, because it was really cold and tough and really in the middle of nowhere? So how was your experience of that first night? Because it sounds horrendous.
The first night wasn't too bad, I didn't think.
Okay.
I just sort of, we had layers on and we were out help. It was really nice. And the guy that we were with on the second section, we were helping him sort of navigate through, and so it really wasn't nice. Then it's nice when you see the sun come up. So it really wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Nice when you see the sun come up. But it was towards the end of that second section, which was the longest. I think it was about 46, 47 miles, that second bit. Towards the end of that, because that whole stage is very up and down between Hayfield and Hebden. So there's no big climbs. You've got the Cam High Road, but it literally, you're around reservoirs and you're literally going up and down and up and down. So by the time you're approaching Hebden, you're just knackered.
Yeah.
So that was the tough bit, but worked out well that the checkpoint 2 and checkpoint 3 we arrived at night, so it was good for the body clock as well.
Yeah.
So we were going to sleep at the right time.
Yeah. And how much did you sleep on the race?
I think it was in the region of about 3 hours at checkpoint 2 and checkpoint 3, and then some sort of maybe 2 or 3 short, like 5-minute on benches or in bivvies. So,
yeah. So 3 hours each at those checkpoints?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So 6 hours and a bit in 3 days.
Probably about 6.5 in total.
Yeah.
So not very much.
Yeah. Oh, I bet you got home and just went like.
Yeah, well, there's the finish is at a hostel in Kirby Stephen, so you get to the finish, you get a nice hot meal, and then you can go to bed. So I had a shower and got to bed, but both me and Lizzie were in the same room, and we were just like, our legs, as soon as we finished and got to bed, our feet were in agony.
Oh yeah.
So I had a bit of a broken sleep, but I would have slept longer, but I got an offer of a lift home from one of the guys that was helping in the race, who lived in Nottingham.
Yeah.
So that was, Pete, it was really nice of him. He was like, we're heading out in a couple of hours, and he was going to take his son to show him Malin Cove on the way home. So he said, you can join us if you want. I said, no way, absolutely not. So I sat in the back of his van while they went and did a walk.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so it was really nice to get enough home. I didn't have to worry about getting trains.
Yeah. Oh, that does sound good, like carrying all your kit and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's another question from Tony. I think Tony's going to sign up to this race because he's very interested here. He said, what was your highest point emotionally, Hannah? What was great about the race?
I would say finishing, obviously. Also, we got to the top of the Cam High Road, and he and his son were there with his van. There was a water stop and some sort of cheeky snacks as well. As we arrived at the top of the hill, like there was suddenly like these sort of pans being bashed in a cowbell fashion, and they were like cheering us, and so that was really nice. So that was at about 6 p.m. on the Saturday. So we still had a fair few hours to go, but to reach that. And it was nice to reach the station at Garsdale Head, because they've got a waiting room with benches and heaters and lights that's like basically just open.
Lovely.
You just go in the doors, and they shut at night. So that was really nice. So we could sit down, have some food, and then have a lie down. But I think also that point when my head went from I'm going to potentially stop at that water stop on section 3 to thinking, you know what, we're getting to settle. Yeah. And then once I thought that, I knew that I was most likely going to, barring disaster, going to finish the race. When you get to settle, you get to sleep, some more food, and rejig a bit, and then get going again. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's good that you've said that, because Bobby's other question was, at what point did she really know she was in control and definitely going to finish? So it sounds like when you got to settle, that was
or even, as I say, even before then, when I made my decision that we were going to settle and I wasn't going to stop, that felt that it was manageable, that I was going to finish a race, because I'd recce'd all the way to Settle, and I'd recce'd as far as Barsdale head station. So then there was about 13 miles, I think, after that to do. And then you're like, it's going to be hard. It's not too hilly, and you just got to keep going at that point. So
yeah. And I think it's really nice that you're very honest and open about the fact that you didn't love it all the time. Like, I think that's just really refreshing, but yet you still did it and completed it and pushed through those times, and you actually came first lady joint with Lizzie, so that's just brilliant. I can see, I've just popped up a picture there, and it's you and Lizzie looking not like, you don't look that tired, to be honest. You look really happy. You're holding your medal, the Rangers Ultras medal, and there's a wooden plaque that says Pennine Bridleway 270k Ultra Challenge fastest lady. So actually, to be grammatically correct, it should say faster lady, because there's only two of you, but we'll overlook that. And you took it joint. Was that a decision that you had to talk about?
We talked about it during the race.
One of you wasn't going to nip off, like just sprint to the finish in the last 200 metres.
Well, we joked about that a lot, actually. We joked about people tripping each other up.
Stabbing each other with a pole.
Or like, we were joking about, like, what if one of us like left the Settle checkpoint early, set their alarm and left early, and like the other person woke up and was like, they're gone.
And there'd be a massive like manhunt.
So it did make it was funny. The pair of us joking with Craig as well, but we going into it, I thought, I don't think I can really race her, and I'm not used to these kind of events really, apart from doing the Challenger, and I thought the last thing you'd want to do is race anyway and then not finish it. So and we had our discussion, and we've been together for well over half of it by that point, so we are going to finish together, and that was really lovely.
Really lovely. And was there a second place prize? Did you get that one as well?
No, there wasn't. No,
so there was just one.
But we made a decision during the. Wait a minute, Megan, Darcy, I'm busy, sweetheart. Lovely. Right, sorry. So we decided that we finished together, and because it's only a small race and not many entries, we were like, right, we're gonna, when we finish, we'll say that we're gonna club together and buy another signpost prize.
I was wondering what you were gonna do. Share it between you, or?
So we decided to do that, but actually, when we got to the finish, we were told that a couple of anonymous people involved in the race decided they were going to club together to buy one.
Oh, that's so lovely.
That made me cry.
That's so lovely.
Really lovely of them. So,
that's really nice. So you've got. So who took that one then? Did you let Lizzie take that one?
I said to Lizzie to take it. So
you'll get sent yours.
Where
are you going to put it?
It's going to be somewhere really obvious in the house so that people see it when they come
in. On the front door.
I could nail it above the front door, couldn't I? It'd be inside. It'd be, I don't know, maybe in the hallway or the front room. Do you know what I mean? So I'm proud.
It's on the mantelpiece. No, that's absolutely brilliant. How proud are you of that achievement?
No, I am proud. I mean, people, I sort of say to people, but there were only the two of us, in terms of women, and we finished joint last as well. But
last and first.
Yeah, exactly. It's a special position, but it's but then other people say, but you started it, you signed up for it, and you took part. So
you beat me. You beat all of us that didn't do it. You beat Jasmine Paris, actually. She didn't do it.
No, exactly. I mean, Lizzie did it last year, but she couldn't finish because she got injured. So actually, we were also the first ever women finishers.
Oh, brilliant.
So
that's great.
So that's nice as well.
That's really, really awesome, and hopefully it will encourage even more women to take on feats like this, because I think women are usually quite good at stuff like this, aren't they? Organising kit and packing stuff and making sure you eat and keeping going and enduring. We're good at that, aren't we, us women?
I think so. I think that that does help when the going gets tough. You know, there were plenty of times when I was just walking behind the others, just following feet, head down. But yeah, you do just end up just being able to cope, and things hurt, and you're just like, no, I'm going to get to the finish. So I mean, you know, men have that as well, but I think women can certainly do it.
Yeah, I think some women can. I don't think I can. I'm not very good at putting up with all this kind of stuff. I need to take a leaf out of your book, and I will be remembering this talk on Saturday when I'm doing my 35 miler through the Welsh mountainside on the Ultra Trail Snowdonia. But how has your recovery been after? Do you do anything specific in terms of recovery, or do you just have a rest?
Yeah, it's mainly been resting. For the first few days, my legs and feet were in agony, almost worse in bed than anything. I was like, as soon as I got out of bed, I was hobbling. I've got a pair of OOFOS, those like recovery flip-flops.
Oh, okay.
They, you know, I couldn't really walk anywhere without putting those on because my feet were so sore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had swelling in my feet and my calves. And I was, first couple of days, I wasn't, you know, I was eating, but not a huge amount because I just lost my appetite, which is incredible. And then my appetite kicked in, and then I was like, eating loads. And, you know, I was having to still function, you know, like on the Tuesday afterwards, I had to take my daughter to school and do a very short dog walk. So, yeah, I was having to still do stuff, little short dog walks, and getting my husband to do the slightly longer ones. And, and I was back at work on the Thursday afterwards, which was really hard because it was an 11-hour day, and I was mainly on my feet, and I was clock watching the whole day.
Yeah.
I'm eating.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you didn't bring in a hamster, did you, by any chance? Oh, eating that. At that guinea pig. Well, that is absolutely fantastic. I do want to say congratulations, major congratulations, because I know how much these things mean to you, and we've interviewed you a few times now, and you're just going longer and longer. So that does beg the question, now that you're a little bit more recovered. Robert has the same question as well, Bobby Cullen. He says, well done, Hannah, a great achievement. He's Bobby's the guy who did it in 60 hours, and that was his big achievement, so well done, Bobby. He wants to know from you, what is next? Are you like him? Have you signed up for next year's Pennine Bridleway 270 already? I believe he did it on the bus on the way to the start of this year's race. Absolutely crazy.
I haven't at the moment. I mean, I've told myself I'm going to do the half distance one. They've got a half distance that goes from Hebden to Kirby Stephen with a checkpoint at Settle, which, I mean, it's still going to be tough.
Yeah.
But it does sound nice. At the point when it starts to get really tough, you reach the finish.
Yeah.
Well,
that does sound nice.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'll do that. But
Yeah, would that be next year then? When does that one take place?
Yeah, next April is that one. I've got some other ones lined up. I've got my first Long Distance Walkers Association race in July. Well, it's not a race, it's like an event.
Yeah.
So
that's what Mrs. Wade said.
50 miles called a walk in 2 Dales, so that'll be in the Yorkshire Dales. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And we've got some I'm helping at a Ranger Ultras race in September, I think it is, High Peak 100, and then I'm doing a couple of other Ranger Ultras events. I'm doing their Yorkshire Three Peaks Ultra, which will be challenging. That's 70k.
Oh wow! All the mountains.
Yeah, I know. So that'll be. I've only been up Pen so far as part of the Challenger last year, but that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Back on high road again.
Yeah.
It starts, finishes in Hawes, and then another 2-day one of theirs in November. So I'm banging for their female points winner.
They have a point thing, do they?
Yeah. So
cool. What's the prize for that then? Do you get a trophy or something?
Well, it's a handmade map box by the same guy. It's a wooden map box by the same guy that made the winners' signs.
Yeah.
So so that'd be good to put maps and guidebooks in.
Oh wow! So, a map box, like a bookshelf, or like with a glass case.
Yeah, it's literally like a wooden rectangular box, so you can put maps in. Stand maps up in them. Yeah.
Very nice.
Maps. Yeah.
Lovely.
So So I'm very much Ranger Ultras event heavy this year, but they're like, because I've done some of their races, I'm used to the people that help on the race, and they're just so lovely because it's a
nice community.
It's it's a relatively small team, and everyone's just so supportive and
it does sound really good. Like Ranger events sounds brilliant. I think we should all sign up for one. I do think Tony is interested. He's asking another question here. So I think Tony's going to sign up for one of these events, after he's done the Nene Valley Trails event, which is in June, that I organise. Tony says, is it the same when you start going from 10k, then you do a half marathon, then your full marathon? Do you get focused on increasing distance, or like, what is it? I like, for me personally, I would have thought you do the distance thing because you're like, oh, do the distance, and then for me it's like the interesting places to go, like seeing the places and destination races. What is it for you?
Well, actually, I'd started to sort of gradually increase my distance, and then I think the year Jasmine Paris won the Spine race, that was the first year I'd actually started already watching it. Like with all the daily updates. So
I think that was really 2019, I think, wasn't it? Just it was it was pre-COVID, pre-COVID.
So I got really into it and thought, right, one day I want to do the Spine. I don't know if I ever will.
Is that your long-term goal then?
It was my long-term goal, and I've been gradually increasing with a view to eventually doing the full summer one. I don't know if I will. I mean, it's so expensive.
You can enter a ballot, I'm sure. You can win a place.
That's
you can marshal.
You volunteer for the week, you can. But that would be something to maybe consider in the future. I'd love to volunteer at these things anyway, but I just don't have the time to have a week of annual leave and have my husband have like nearly a week of annual leave as well to for the kids. Once when they're older.
Once they're at uni, you can just once you've retired.
Exactly. So I want to, as I say, the Pennine Bridleway, I'll probably do the half distance next year, unless I do something stupid like into the full one again. I don't know. But potentially the year after, I'd like offer my volunteering services or something like that.
Like you could do a year where you do shorter races and you volunteer, and then you could do a year where you do no races, but then you just do the Spine race and you spend all your money on that one race. You could work it that way, because probably all the races that you do over the course of the whole year, that might add up to the Spine race. You never know.
Probably not. But,
I don't know how much it is now. Is it over £1,000 now?
I don't know what the full one is. The full summer one. The winter's more expensive. I don't know about the summer one, but it's a lot of money.
Last time I looked, it was £800, but I'm sure it's gone up since then.
Yeah, quite possibly. And then it's for me, Edale's not far, so that's okay. But it's getting home as well from. Home as well. It's a long way.
It's a long way. A lot of money on train fares as well. There's a lot of other things, like not just the race, isn't there?
So I'm happy with what I've done so far, and I don't feel I've got this big pressure to do it. Maybe one day when the kids are older, because I'm still, in terms of people that do these races, I'm still relatively young. I've got time.
Plenty of time. Just do what makes you happy.
Exactly.
But I think Tony's going to join you on one. We've dropped him in it now. He's got to sign up for something. That's brilliant. Well, congratulations, Hannah. I'm so pleased for you that you've A, managed to complete the race, B, got a first lady with Lizzie. That's just incredible. You've got that beautiful plaque that you can put up, that signpost there. That's amazing. I think you're just spearheading the way for people that have got kids, full-time jobs, just getting out there, getting time on your feet, no sort of structured special training plan, special diet or anything like that. And it's just so inspiring to hear. And I will be channeling you on Saturday when I'm on top of Snowdon for the second time. Trying to, thinking of my blistered feet and thinking, oh, Hannah had many more miles than this to go. So I will be, you're very inspiring to me personally, and I thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice if anyone can see that someone like me can go out and just do these races, then it's nice that it might help other people think they can do it, especially, as I say, we did it with stopping and eating, and
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tony says, I am in awe. Well done, Hannah. An incredible achievement. Tadeusz says, extended pub crawl sounds great. And Maria Nutston says, sounds like there was great support on the race as well. So
yeah,
it sounds like a really fantastic event. And congratulations, and keep us posted in the Patreon group as to what you decide to do next, because we're all watching and supporting you.
Thank you.
Cool. I'll let you go back to your kiddies now. They've been very good in letting us have a whole hour with you, but thank you very much, Hannah, and best of luck in your next event.
All right, thanks, Claire.
Cool.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.